Chapter 33 of Tanya in the annual study cycle. And here in this chapter, the Alter Rebbe sort of continues. He jumps back to chapter 31, where he was trying to say different ways, give suggestions of different ways, not to allow us to become sad for our spiritual failings. And here the Alter Rebbe brings out a new point. And he says, and that is to think about God's unity. What does it mean, God's unity? When we talk about God being the God of this world, it doesn't mean there's a world and God happens to be the most powerful thing in this world. God permeates the entire universe, even our physical world, in the same way the soul permeates the body. This world has no existence outside of God. There's no reality outside of God. And that's why we say that God is no different before He created the world or after. The world is nothing new. The world is not something that came from somewhere else. It's all just an expression of God wanting to reveal Himself in some way. And when you think about that unity of God, this is supposed to allow you to combat this feeling of spiritual, of sadness for spiritual failings. And just like imagine words that you speak or words that you think, how minimal are they? How small are they compared to the source of those words and thoughts when there's still feelings in the heart or in the 10 characteristics of a person or in the mind, or just like the rays of a sun. When the rays hit this earth far from the sun, it brings heat and all the other beautiful things, the energy it brings. But those rays, when it's close to the sun, must be much more powerful, but yet they're totally nullified because the sun, they're in the presence of the essence of the sun. They have no value, no meaning. So too, it's God in this world. Everything is nullified before God. Everything is ultimately just a ray of God here in this world, a creation of God here in this world. And therefore, because God is so unified with this world, God is so close to us. And the whole purpose of this creation is that we should make God a dwelling place in this world. Imagine a small person is given a chance by a king to be able to have a relationship with them and do something for them, how special they would feel. But we are in front of the King of Kings, the only true existence in this world. And God is so unified with us and gives us a chance to make Him a dwelling place in this world. And as we say every morning, how special we are that we have a part of God, meaning God is in our inheritance. God is our inheritance. And just like an inheritance is one with the person who inherits, so too we are one with God. That's what Habakkuk said, that there's 630 commandments, but God placed them on one. God placed them on one commandment. What is the one commandment? That tzaddik b'emunasa yichya. A tzaddik will live through his emunah, through his faith. What does it mean? That the emunah, the faith in God and the recognition of the unity of us with God, this is the greatest joy that can be. And this is what brings us to do many more mitzvahs. And that's why it says yichya, it's a revival. It's like a double joy that we have. That not only that we have a connection to God, but that's so unified and one with God. And we can make God a nachas ruach, a great joy, by doing things in this world, by bending the negativity, the things that hide God, and then transforming them. Especially here and outside of Israel, where things are much darker than the way are in Israel, God's more revealed. How much we participate in Kate Sam L'Cheshach, in making an end to this darkness, and totally to transforming it, etc. And therefore it says that God, Yismach Yisrael B'Yisrael, God takes great joy in our actions, plural, because our actions takes the world that looks plural and many and brings it to unified, showing that the whole world is really only God's. And when you think about this, contemplating this unity, this brings the greatest joy to be able to say, no matter even if you had failings, but yet you are part of what makes this happen. So this concludes chapter 33. For the rest of our chapters, see Chabad YouTube channel.